There's a quiet loneliness that shows up after 40, not because your life fell apart, because it didn't. You did what you were supposed to do. You built something stable. So why does it feel like you're still waiting for your real life to start? This isn't about failure. It's about psychology. You open Instagram and someone you used to work with just announced another promotion. Or maybe it's not Instagram anymore. Maybe it's a retirement post, a grandchild photo, a just bought our second home update. You scroll, close the app, and somewhere in the background of your mind, a quiet voice says, "Why not me?" It's not jealousy. It's heavier than that. It's the strange sensation of watching other people move forward while you feel like you've been standing in the same place for years, working, surviving, showing up, but somehow not arriving. And when progress slows, even for completely human reasons, it doesn't just feel inconvenient. It can feel like you're disappearing. If that feeling is familiar, this isn't about ambition. It's about identity. You are not falling behind. Your brain just learned to measure your life in the wrong currency. Here's something important about people who feel left behind. They are rarely lazy, rarely unaware. In fact, they're often the opposite. They notice everything, every milestone someone else hits, every timeline they haven't met, every version of themselves they imagined by now. That awareness didn't come from nowhere. For many people now in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, comparison was wired early in school rankings, career ladders, cultural expectations. You were taught that life moves in steps. Graduate, build, advance, accumulate, retire. Linear progress wasn't just encouraged, it was assumed. So when your path curves or stalls or takes longer than expected, your nervous system interprets that as danger. Not because you're failing, because somewhere along the way your self-worth became tied to visible momentum. Psychologists call this contingent self-worth, the belief that you are valuable only when you are advancing, only when you can point to something measurable and say, "See, I'm keeping up." And when that visible proof slows down, the self can feel unmoored, not empty, not useless, just unanchored. And that's where the ache begins. But here's the part nobody explains. Feeling left behind isn't about where you are. It's about the gap between where you are and where you believed you were supposed to be. That phrase, supposed to, carries enormous psychological weight. By 30, you were supposed to be established. By 40, stable. By 50, secure. By 60, comfortable. Those weren't random ideas. They were cultural scripts, inherited timelines, social blueprints passed down quietly, and if you didn't hit those markers on schedule, no one may have said you failed, but you felt it anyway. The brain does something subtle here. It turns a societal expectation into a private verdict. There's another layer most people don't notice. When you feel behind long enough, the identity can solidify around it. You start saying things like, "I'm just not one of the lucky ones. I'm always a step behind. This is just how my life goes." The brain prefers familiarity over uncertainty, even painful familiarity. Feeling stuck is predictable. Predictable feels safe. So the nervous system chooses the known disappointment over the terrifying possibility of redefining the game entirely. It becomes a room you know how to walk in, even if the lights are off. What's interesting is that this feeling often shifts in midlife. Not because life gets easier, but because something inside you starts questioning the map itself. Many people who felt chronically behind in their 20s or 30s describe something different happening later. A loosening, a quiet realization. Maybe the race I thought I was running was never mine. Maybe I adopted someone else's timeline. Maybe the comparison was the distortion, not my life. That shift doesn't come from hustling harder. It comes from awareness. If you feel left behind, understand this. You are not broken. You are not late. You are not less capable than the people you compare yourself to. You are someone whose nervous system learned to keep score in a game that was never designed to measure your worth. And when you step back even slightly, you may notice something surprising. You weren't behind. You were just measuring yourself against movement instead of meaning. And meaning moves at a different pace than comparison. It doesn't trend. It doesn't announce itself. It just quietly builds a life that fits you.